My name is BBoy Gretski. I go by the surname of Gretar. I'm from Reykjavik city in Iceland. I represent Element Crew, originally Fifth Element, and Reykjavik Rockers since '98. Been dancing since '97. I started in '97. Around that time there was a real hype in the scene. I think all over the world. You had like the Run DMC versus Jason Nuvis video. It's like that, and that's the way it is. That's probably the first thing that got me into it. But I remember being 5 or 6 years old and seeing my oldest brother doing backspins on the floor, living room floor in our apartment. So yeah, '97 it was a real hype. Like I said, there was a lot of people into it. Around that time there was this old school b-boy, Stefan Diego. He hooked up with these other guys from a dance school, taught them the basics, and those guys created a crew that was called the Shakers, and they were basically the first group in that 90s comeback here in Iceland. A little later, me and my friends, we created the Element Crew, what was then called Fifth Element Crew. It started out as a graffiti crew with 5 or 6 active graffiti members, which were also b-boying. So Fifth Element, we were basically into it all the 4 elements. Later on it was just a b-boy crew. All the other guys quit their crew and went to do their own things, but still today we remain good friends though. This is the beginning for me. Other than that, there was one of the bigger events here in '98 when the hype was still here. There was the Iceland B-Boy Championship held at one of the biggest arena here called Broadway. There were well over 1,000 people, local people. Shakers were owned the floor kind of still at that time. They split down into 2 crews, and those were the only crew that entered in the crew battles. One of the crews even broke a glass on the floor. It was a really not a good thing to do, like most people or dancers would know. Evo from UK, along with Tough Tim Twist and DJ Hoots, they came here to judge and spin, and those were probably my first big influence that I saw in real life. Other than that, I would only have. Before that, I only saw videotapes. There was no YouTube back then. There were only VHS, and Iceland was really isolated. It was really hard for a 15-year-old boy to order something from the mainland Europe. It was not an easy thing. So for example, first when I was getting into it, I called like 50 or 60 video rental stores just to look for Beat Street and Breaking 1 and 2. But I finally found them, which is a good thing. I still have a pirate copy that I made at home. About the origin of b-boying in Iceland though, it's I can review it back to the year of '85 or '84. There were crews then called the Icebreakers. That was probably the biggest group back then, Icebreakers. Other than that, there was an individual which most people know from back then. His name is Stefan Baxter. If you meet a person over the age of 30 or over the age of 40 and you talk about b-boying, this is the name that they will mention. I've seen footage of him. It's pretty funny. B-boying back in those days were really primate thing. It was not much to go by. It was even more isolated, so yeah, it was basically very mixed with popping and other styles, locking, and not too much power moves, not much style either. It was a very basic thing. When Beat Street came out, Magnificent Force came here, or a few guys from them, not the whole crew or the original Magnificent Force. BBoy German, and if I remember right, Wickles was one of them, one of those that came. A group called Twin City Breakers, they came here in the 80s too, from Seattle. And Holland, a B-boy group from Holland came here and was jamming at this club, local youth center called The Best. Yeah, that's about it that I remember at the moment about the origin of B-boying in Iceland, but there's so much info that it's almost impossible to go over it all. I have like stacks of newspaper articles at home that still have to review. Well, for us, the group that is, it started in 2000. We've been practicing like crazy, young group coming up, doing a lot of shows here, and we wanted to go abroad because that's where everything was happening. There was no one coming into Iceland, isolated island in the Atlantic Sea, so we had to go. So what we did basically in the beginning, we did CV. I walked around over 100 companies, big corporation and the government, all that, trying to get some money up for us all to go, and finally managed to get the money, and we went to Sweden. We went to this event, the Scandinavian Band of the Year. It was a big inspiration for us also. There were a lot of good groups. It was the first time abroad. Natural Effects from Denmark, Freestyle Fanatics, Denmark, Sweden. Ultimate Breakers from Sweden was there, I think. A lot of good groups, Nordic groups that was there, and was much more than we expected. So when we came back, we were full of inspiration and going back to practice like crazy. And next event we went to was, I think, the same event but the year after, and we were a little bit more prepared for that kind of event. The first year we didn't have any clue what we were getting into. Today and for the last couple of years when I travel, I just basically do it for my own money. Let's start with Cuba, my passion. Cuba, I'm also into Latin dances. A couple of years ago, 3-4 years ago, I was having a down period in my b-boying, and I needed something fresh and nice to do, so I started doing salsa. And I'm still doing that today, and I probably do more salsa than b-boying today, but it's quite even though. I went to Cuba and was there for 1 month, doing at least 4 hours of private classes every day. I went down to into the city and in Havana, and met some b-boys there. And it's even more isolated there, so it made me realize also that, you know, Iceland is not all that bad, and it's possible to do things here. It's like if you're in Cuba, you're not. It's only you only get somewhere if you're invited, and you're being watched all the time. If you don't go back, they go after your family. Today, salsa is also a very big inspiration for me in b-boying when it comes to down rock and mostly top rocks though. It's the flow, and if you think about it, it's the origin, the rumba, the son, it's the origin, what B-Boy comes from. One of the inspiration is from the Bronx, you know. B-Boy, salsa is from the Bronx. It's from US as much as Cuba. The other events like Floor Wars, IB, some of them I get invited to, others I use my own money. It doesn't matter, it's always same great feeling. If the events get too big though, it's sometimes a disappointment. It's too hype, too much people, too crazy things going on the floor, people is not chilling or having fun, too much competition. But not entering, it's I don't enter that many events today. I feel more like spending my time just in the ciphers, enjoying it, going easy, not too fast and all that.
Yeah, and US Rocksteady.
US Rocksteady.
What you can say about Rocksteady? Your feeling about the US?
My feeling about the US, there's a lot of good dances there. What I was surprised to see is how divided it is. It's a lot of good dancers, but there's still also a lot of people that are not there yet on their journey there, if you could say that. I thought the standard would be more higher, complete than it was. So in Europe and events in Europe, I probably enjoy them even more because it's more demanding and demanding for yourself and your own skills. So yeah, I went to 1 year study in Sweden, and it's a dance school, a street dance school, 1 year study that Fries is the headmaster of, and there are other very good teachers there that teach you also how to do popping, locking, hip hop, and am I forgetting anything? Yeah, house dance, of course. So it's the complete street dance experience. It was fun to learn that too, but b-boying was my first passion. It's always going to be my first love and my main love. What I realized and what I got out of that study and my time in Sweden is, I was just detailing and defining my style even more. I realized that I like to dance more, spend more time in the top rocks and go slower than the others, and kind of go out of it more and dance a little bit with it. I mix it with a lot of Latin style, and that's about it. The Red Bull battle today is too hyped for me. It's the stage is just too commercial. It's being shown live on the internet. It has narrators. I mean, some people are into that, and that's all good. But for me personally, it's just getting too commercial and too big. It's not the good old underground battle that we B-boys like, most of us. Alright, so today I work like crazy. I'm a tour guide, so my work day I usually spend snorkeling through iceberg rift. Well, iceberg rift, a rift full with water coming from iceberg, or hiking a mountain, exploring caves, surfboarding in the Atlantic Ocean. I'm lucky enough to be the founder and and manage a salsa group called Rua de Casino. Well, the group is called Rua Iceland, and we dance Rua de Casino, which is a group version of salsa. We meet up every Monday, all Mondays the whole year. Over the summertime we dance outside. That's something all B-boys should look into, Rua de Casino. It's good inspiration. I dance a lot of salsa, of course. There's a huge salsa community in Iceland, so a few nights a week I spend doing salsa. I try to practice as much as I can of b-boying, but my work gets in the way very often. Other than that, my bed is always a nice place to spend the day. This is my city, Reykjavik, aka Smoke Bay. I want to give shout outs to my man Skora for chilling in Iceland with me for last couple of days. To my crewmates from Element Crew and Reykjavik Rockers. To my salsa friends. To all my classmates and good friends in Sweden. Lucky number 7. My teachers from Osa. And all the great people I met in Sweden, basically all the crews, Ghost Crew, yeah, all the names, everyone I'm forgetting there. $7, Switzerland, the crewmates and friends in Norway, in UK, Asia, all over the world, and everyone that I'm forgetting. Thank you. Peace out.